Winners don't use drugs.
And we're live. And it's Wednesday. Shitty movie time. What's up, everybody?
What's up, everyone?
How you doing, Darius? My co-pilot Darius was here for another movie. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing every week to be here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. I guess it could be called cinematic masochism.
Cinemasochism.
Yo. Cinemasochism.
Yeah, so
another
Darius,
movie I've never seen before.
I'm sure there's also a porno by that name.
You know what, Slasher? You could always have a Thursday night show as well. It could be Thursday Cocaine Ninjas. Every Thursday you watch Cocaine Ninjas.
And just every Thursday we'll just watch Miami Connection.
We call it the Cocaine Ninja Review.
Yeah, it's Cocaine Ninja Thursday. Hello, Optic Racer. How you doing?
What up,
I bet you Optic Racer has seen this movie. I bet you Optic Racer has seen it because Optic Racer has seen some doozies just like I have.
Yeah, it was from the master, Wes Craven.
Hi, Optic Racer.
That kind of course, I've never seen this movie, but that kind of surprised me when Wes Craven's name popped up.
Yeah, also like
one of his
you never,
lesser known.
I'm saying like Han, you were probably also a VHS store kid, so you wouldn't even like scan this across, like looking through the shelves, stuff like that.
I don't remember this movie. But yeah, I was a VHS store kid, and there was always the times, like you said, wandering around. Like if there wasn't a new release or something that you wanted to see, you just kind of wander around.
But Han, I am very disappointed in you. The whole idea of going to a video store back in the day is to pick up all the B-rated movies that you're not going to see.
That kind of was the selling point. Blockbuster kind of sterilized the whole video store experience.
Yeah.
You know, you were gonna find a Bad Lieutenant at Blockbuster. It's like it's gonna be heavily edited.
Luckily, it was right as like VHS was starting to kind of phase out, and they started carrying DVDs.
Oh, hello, Dave Myers.
I actually frequented like a small hole in the wall mom and pop like independent video store.
Yeah, my neighborhood
which was cool.
Before a Blockbuster popped up in my neighborhood, my neighborhood was full of nothing but mom and pop places.
To quote the Warriors, mom and pop stores for VHS tapes, the best.
How did they fuck this movie up, Dave Myers? I don't know. I mean, it was kind of nonsensical. This movie is nonsense. If this kid was as smart as he was portraying he wouldn't have went through with this whole fucking plan.
Was he as smart as the Weird Science kid?
Well, all right, but did
the Weird Science thing turned out better?
All right, they created Lisa in Weird Science, but Lisa didn't go around murdering people. Sorry, spoiler.
Yeah, but they did forget to hook up the doll.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they did create a giant fucking missile in the middle of nowhere.
I did think there was going to be a lot more of BB the Robot in the movie. You know, when he showed up looking like a cross between Johnny Five and Rob.
Yeah, he was very Johnny Five-ish.
With the head of Rob the Robot.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do agree with that. Well,
I 100% agree with that.
The ending that we're given, but are we supposed to question it? I don't know with that ending.
I question. It's almost like they left out what should have been after that. What they say was the ending, like something is missing.
That was very. It was also similar to the two nightmare scenes they had before.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So questionable.
Yep. There were 2 other hallucinations or dreams or nightmares in the movie. So it kind of like completes it with a third. So we could assume that maybe it is. And I have to believe that it was because otherwise it doesn't make any sense.
No.
Yeah,
How the hell is Phoebe going to evolve into some sort of robot feral monster
that busts out of your body that somehow magically made itself in your body?
Yeah. I mean, come on now.
Could it be the guy who made this was like high on acid and he had just got done watching Aliens?
It was also the 80s, so there was people involved were definitely on cocaine. It was the 80s. It was the 80s.
Reminds me, I was very surprised that no ninjas showed up in this movie. Not even during Halloween.
Yeah, no one was dressed as a ninja. Although we didn't get to see too many Halloween costumes. We just got to see their costumes.
That's nonsense. There's always a cocaine ninja. Always.
Around every corner.
He was being very sneaky. You just couldn't see him.
If there's not a cocaine ninja, there's a chicken pimp. It's one of the two.
Oh, Carol's Cookies loves Hot Lana.
Yeah. She loves me.
All right.
Written by AAC Creative Unit.
Deadly fucking bet. Oh, that thing. The robot that makes movies. Holy
about
shit.
ninjas.
AV Creative Unit. Yes.
Yeah, AAV.
I gotta look up some of those movies because it was something the Cobra. Oh my god! It was like the title was completely out of order. Like someone must have kicked the machine while it was writing the script, and words got out of order. But anyway,
here's a quick question. Since we're still on ninjas, real quick, have you ever considered doing Ninja 3?
See, I have considered the ninja movies, but I think when I first saw those ninja movies, they were out of order. I think I might have seen the third one first.
Yeah, well, that's the only one you need to see. That's the best one.
The girl who's the girl who's like she's working on like phone lines or something.
Yeah, she's working on phone lines. Yeah, she gets invaded by the spirit of the ninja.
And the opening scene is the ninja who comes on a golf course and starts killing a bunch of mobsters.
Yes,
right? Yes.
Mm-hmm. So those ninja movies, they were like Slasher was telling me, the story was written by a computer that exclusively wrote ninja movies.
I don't know if those ones were, Darius. I don't know if the original Ninja series was, but there were a lot of ninja movies written by that computer.
Movies such as Ninja Thunderbolt, Hitman the Cobra, Thunder of Gigantic Serpent.
Hitman the Cobra was the one I was like, shouldn't you put Cobra the Hitman?
Yeah.
Because
nope. Hitman the Cobra.
See, look at this. You've already got Optic Racer sold. He said, what? There's a robot there too? Christy Swanson's in it? See? What more do you need? What up, Bone?
Oh, man. There's even one called LA Connection.
What's up, Bone? How you doing, bro?
Dave Myers thinks an executive forced that ending to be filmed.
Okay. I did see something along those lines. They did test screenings, and the test screenings didn't go so well.
For whatever ending they did have, I guess?
Yeah. Yes.
So they had to go back in and at the last minute, like, do a different ending.
Right. Originally, the film was a sci-fi thriller without any graphic scenes, with a bigger focus on plot and character development, and a love story centering on the two main characters, which were not typical aspects of Craven's previous films. Yes, Wes Craven, everybody. After Craven's original cut was shown to a test audience by Warner Brothers, the audience criticized the lack of graphic, bloody violence and gore that Craven's other films included. Warner Brothers executive vice president Mark Cannon and the film's producers then demanded the script rewrites and reshoots, which included filming gorier death scenes and nightmare sequences. Oh, so that's why we got the nightmare sequences. Similar to the ones from Craven's previous film, Nightmare on Elm Street. Because we were saying every time those nightmares popped up. It was
So
like,
this is
they
post
look
Elm
like,
Street.
They look just like they could have been taken from a Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
Also, they were rejected nightmare scenes.
Yeah.
In a way.
Wow,
In a
okay.
way.
It makes so much
Judas-
sense now.
It
What
does,
up, Chris?
yeah.
Due to studio imposed reshoots and re-editing, the film was drastically altered in post-production, losing much of the original plot and more scenes between characters, while other scenes, including more grisly deaths and a new ending, were added. The version is criticized by test audience for containing too much graphic, bloody violence. So they test screened one version.
They cried about not having enough and then too much.
They test screened one version, the audience didn't like it. They test screened the gorier version, the audience didn't like it. Okay,
Yep.
I guess.
Personally, I think
Pretty
it
much.
wasn't gory enough. It could have been way
What up,
more
Chris?
gory.
How you doing?
All right. So that
Hey,
explains
Chris.
why we got Burnt to a Crisp Dead and old lady's head exploding.
Well, and probably vase blood fountain.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
blood scene.
Where he's
That
just
was
happy as hell to
bonkers.
be like Bukaki her all over.
Yeah,
the
he was
blood.
basically
Yeah.
bukkake blood all over her.
Yeah,
And then he was fine after that.
yeah.
Almost
it was
like
a
the
dream.
scene was just shoved in the movie afterward.
And he was also very sweaty too. Let's not forget the
Yeah,
sweat.
he was always sweaty.
So much sweat.
If you had a sweaty face, they wanted you to be in this movie.
You
I would
sweat
like
on command.
I would like to know what their water spritzing budget was for this movie because it had to be pretty high. There was a ton of sweat,
What's the pay rate?
copious,
spritzer.
insane
Copious
amounts
amount
of sweat.
sweat. Someone
Especially her dad.
so someone behind the camera was spritzing them down right before action.
Yeah. You know, like one of them little spritzer bottles, like they use it like a hair salon. Somebody was just like, "Cut! No, we need more sweat." And he's like,
All right, the very beginning of the movie, we see.
You know what? Is Carol offended?
About what?
The Russian bot has stolen your first name.
Yeah, there was a Russian
Oh.
bot
"Oh,
that has your name.
How
Carol
dare you.
Woodstone.
Nah, it's cool. They're just jealous. They wish they could be like me. It's cool.
I wish they would teach the bots how to hit the thumbs up button. I mean, if you're going to come spam the chat, at least teach your bot to be polite and hit the thumbs up button before they spam your chat."
Yeah, those bots
Yeah.
can't even bake delicious cookies.
Nope. Can't beat my cookies.
Oh yeah, so at the beginning, he's already built this robot.
Yeah.
Right.
The beginning of the
Robots.
movie, you just see the mom and the son, the brainiac son. He's what, like fucking 15 years old, and he's doing this whatever the fuck he was a master of at
Yeah, robotics, programming.
Polytech, right? That was the sweater he was wearing the whole movie.
Yeah, and also got a what
Something
was
generic.
a fellowship or whatever it was to work in that like brain
What's up,
department.
Wookie? How you doing?
Right. So he's
Okay.
not only a master of robotics, he was also taking like brain anatomy.
Yeah,
Brain atom.
Brain
and they were letting him like teach some of the classes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like computer
Right, right.
programming classes.
And he's already showing in the beginning of the fucking movie that he has the ability to reanimate a dead body somehow.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because
Yeah,
freaks the
Poking the
damn
brain.
professor out
Right.
because he
You just got
puts that probe in there and the foot goes and kicks the professor. He's like, "What the?"
Right, but
Mhm.
there's
But that's
very
kind of like
beginning of-
Frankenstein, though.
yeah, it is. Yeah, any
Right.
time there's shit like this, there's the Frankenstein element involved. You
Right,
always have
because
to
wasn't it
go
the
back-
first time that that type of experiment was done? Was like what inspired Frankenstein? That they ran electricity through a dead person's like nervous system and it caused their muscles to convulse.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think so. It was back in like the early 19th century.
It doesn't
I
surprise me
wasn't
because they
there.
did all kinds of crazy shit with electricity and medical stuff back then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this kid was a master of it. He was like fucking 15 years old.
Yeah, and built a basically self-aware, self-learning
Johnny Five.
robot.
He had a yellow half Rob the robot, half Johnny Five.
Yeah.
Yeah, that talked like a possessed
It's Remy.
Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, that the voice threw me off. The voice threw me off because you see the robot and it's so like, oh, look how cute that robot is. It's a really cool robot. And then it's going, baby, like it's possessed by the devil.
And you said it's the dude who does Roger Rabbit, right, Darius?
Yep.
See,
Yep.
I thought it was whoever did the voice of any fucking gremlin.
As far as I can tell, he was not
what it sounded like was a
in Gremlins.
What up, Wookie?
But it did have a very
since you're saying he's the master, was he the masturbator?
No, he didn't. Well, we don't know. They may have cut the baiting scenes out. I'm sure there was some stuff left on the cutting room floor when he redresses her and all that stuff.
Well, I don't think he baited anyone, but he did drug somebody.
Yeah.
Oh God, holy fuck! Boy, did they drug the shit out of his mother.
Yeah.
They Cosby'd the ever living
Mom.
shit out of her mother, and she was
Real clumsy too.
No. Gave her a roofie colada.
I forget. Was there any Coke products or any kind of Jello pudding in this movie? I forget.
No. There wasn't any product placement.
Just when the old lady's head exploded.
Yeah.
Wait, what was that? Wilson, the basketball.
Yeah.
Was that the product placement? Oh yeah, Mama Fratelli from the Goonies is in this too, and of course she plays a raging bitch.
Yep.
Yeah, she plays a.
She was lovable. What are you talking about?
She was lovable.
That's the whole thing, Slasher. She wasn't playing. She was legitimately like that.
Nah, see, we were joking before, like when we were watching. We were joking before when you were watching the movie. We were like, imagine she was probably like the sweetest, kindest lady that you could work with, and fucking like behind the scenes and shit.
She got like pigeonholed into playing nothing but characters like that somehow.
Yep. You could tell her character grew up, had a hard life. She's the only one in this like upper middle class suburb who has a gun and is actually paying attention to what's going on.
It was almost the same character she was in Throw Mama from the Train. She basically was the same character.
Yeah.
Just with a shotgun.
Oh, yeah.
Or the Goonies.
And she was super paranoid because you notice she would lock herself in that room. She wasn't a crime
lord in this one though, Tommy. So she was just an asshole with a shotgun. In the Goonies, she was like a crime lord.
Yes,
but not a very good one though.
Bone got it right. That would be actually the way I should have said it. She was typecasted.
Like a lot of people in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like De Niro's whole career, basically. Like if you you subtract maybe like 5 movies from De Niro's career, where he's not De Niro.
His first 5. Yeah. Subtract his first 5 movies.
I don't know. Mean Streets was very De Niro-ish. Did you ever see Mean Streets? It's a Scorsese movie, so of course it's going to be De Niro-ish.
Yep.
But no, De Niro wasn't in this movie. Christy Swanson was.
Mm. So every time somebody threatens Paul, the robot notices.
Yeah, makes a mental note.
Right. So the old lady with the shotgun, stay off my property. He's like, file
also,
saved.
If you mess with Paul, BB's gonna grab your balls.
Oh yeah, the biker. The biker with a long dangly earring whose sidekick is like a wannabe Roddy Piper.
Carl.
Like
I think his name was Carl.
Okay. And he walks up and starts hassling Paul and his friends with these super tight jeans and his schlong bulging out.
He's like, "Get me a can opener. Oh, what is this thing?
Hey, yo,
We're
Fatou.
30. We're 30 and we're fucking with teenagers."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, what's it? BB just grabs him right by the bulge and lifts him up in the air, which is similar to what we saw in another movie 2 weeks ago.
A basket case, yes.
Basket case,
the
yeah.
little goblin dude in basket case lifted his brother up by the nuts.
Yep. Because he resented him for
Yeah,
having a dick. The show where the girl was seeing things in normal vision, yeah.
So they shouldn't have had like the shooting at the end, I guess. Sorry, spoiler alert. Oh, there was a shooting at the end, but this movie was made in 1986, so.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it by now, sorry.
I still say it should have ended with jumper cables, a 12-volt battery, and then bringing her back to life.
You just wanted to see him put jumper cables on her nipples, Tom.
I cannot confirm nor deny that.
And then she grabs the jumper cables and says, "My turn."
Also, Tommy, the first thing we hear about her in the movie is she's got great tits. So that is the first thing.
Yeah. What do you know about my next door neighbor? Oh,
original character description.
Oh, Sam, she's got a great rack.
She's got jeans that go all the way up to him.
Yeah.
Her style.
Her belt on her jeans helped hold her boobs up.
She was a teenage girl that dressed like a mom at that point in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the 80s. I saw plenty of that fucking style right in front of me. So.
Yep. So we know that BB is protective of Paul because he practically castrates the biker who runs away.
And he kind of does the thing where you know how they switch back and forth between what BB sees and what everybody else sees.
Yeah.
You know, like it flashes red,
like you would see like in Predator.
Yeah. How like if you go against Paul or somebody, all of a sudden it's like it goes red for a second.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, BB just made a mental note. You're gonna die later.
Right. And so he also looks at what's her name? Samantha's father that way when he's yelling out the door.
Mr. Sweaty-son.
All right. Well, yeah. If Sweaty McDrop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And BB says like bad.
Yeah. BB, yes. BB can spot you right away if you're a prick because he goes, Baddy.
Not how I.
And his fucking eyes. Is it just me? I thought at one point BB's eyes like glowed when looking at Sam's sweaty drunken father.
Oh yeah, well they built the robot with dilating eyes, which was cool because they're illuminated. Yeah, but there's like a dark iris so that the glowing pupil could shrink and grow, which is pretty cool.
BB also spots when what's her face starts flipping out at them for the first time.
The old lady.
Yeah,
he says Elvira. At that point too. He goes, "Baddy."
Yep.
Yeah, BB makes a checklist of who you're going to see killed in the rest of the movie.
Right. TV holds grudges. Yeah.
Oh, BB holds grudges hardcore. Because in movie time, you don't know how much time has elapsed between all of these incidents. So you don't know how long BB's been holding the grudge, but BB holds a grudge.
The one time point you get is when it's Halloween, where the shit goes down.
Yeah.
That's the one time point you get. And it's like you can't tell after that if they make it to Thanksgiving or not.
Yeah.
So BB's pretty smart for his brain being like a 6-inch by 6-inch circuit board covered in what looks like Motorola 6502 chips. But we know he's got like a like a some type of Intel processor somewhere in him, because it comes up later.
Yeah.
When he has to do a little surgery, but
so that's and that's kind of the odd thing. You bring that up, Darius. That's kind of the odd thing is you don't see that chip when he pulls out what is supposedly his brain to show everybody.
Exactly. Right.
But then later, you have like a chip socket and a chip that you don't see when he pulls out what the brain supposedly is. But then he says, this is BB's brain when he uses the chip thing.
Yep.
So wait. Now we have to go into, because we lose two friends in the middle of the movie, like just
like
boom,
back to back.
Old Paul, poor young prodigy. He just wants to be a brain scientist, and he loses two friends.
He wants to poke dead people's brains and make them kick people
and have their feet move and kick their fucking professor. Yeah.
But yeah, he had a very bad week. He lost like two friends back to back.
Yeah, that's rough.
And he swore never again.
Yeah.
Well, let's also go into that. His next door neighbor, poor Sam, she's also abused. Sweaty face.
Her sweaty father.
Sweaty face is always
Her dad is a raging abusive alcoholic, and if we can go by the dream sequence, possibly also a diddler.
Yeah.
Because
you notice when she woke up from that dream, she like propped a chair against her door to make sure nobody could come in.
Her padlocked door.
He
shows up at his house with a bloody nose and
she's like, oh, it just happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Paul's mother is like, we have
not
to
buying
do
it.
Something.
He could go to jail, Sam.
And she's like, he's my father. I want to. She literally says, sometimes I want to run his face over with a truck, but he's my father.
But he's my father.
But he's my father.
Right. And then he comes and gets her, and he's like, what are you doing out of the house? I'm sorry, this won't happen again.
Only sometimes she wants to run a truck over his face.
So he comes and gets her.
Yeah. The times he's cool is when he's passed out drunk on the couch for 6 hours. And I can go across the street and hang out with you.
Something I noticed that I don't know if y'all, because I mentioned it while we were watching the movie, but when she went to put the chair up against her door after her dream, her daddy diddler, there was a deadbolt.
Yeah.
But the key side was in her room.
Mm.
Oh. Well, I know there's deadbolts that have keys on both sides, but the key side was in her room. So in my mind, I'm thinking, is he like locking her in her room so she can't, get out? Because there's a deadbolt there. So if she'd put the deadbolt and she had the key and the deadbolt was locked, he couldn't get in. But she still put a chair against the door.
But you guys looked up where this was filmed, right? And you said it was filmed in one of those fucking Back to the Future.
The Warner Brothers backlot.
Yeah, it was filmed on
episode type scenarios or everything.
It was filmed on what they generically call Midwest Street. And his house specifically was like, was it 4000 Warner Boulevard on Midwest Street?
Mm-hmm.
Is the whole neighborhood. So everything to do with the houses and their little neighborhood shots that you see is all backlot.
So it's the runoff of Hill Valley.
Those houses did not go together.
No, and I'm sure we've seen those houses in other movies.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Dude, it was probably also Edward Scissorhands. I'm telling you. Probably also Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, it probably is. So we see her asleep in her room, and her sweaty dad comes in, and we're like, "Oh no, oh no!"
Well, because we already know he's beats the shit out of her, and he's a drunk.
Right.
So you already know if he's coming in her room in the middle of the night,
it's not to is on the prowl.
It's not to sing her a lullaby.
No. As he leans in, creeping her out, she grabs this glass vase, and smashes it, and then stabs him in the stomach. And then he just laughs as the blood spurts out through the broken vase, getting all over her face, which he thinks is hilarious.
Yeah, he just laughs the whole time as he goes back and forth, and Bukkake's blood all over her entire body.
And he screams something about the robot too.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was kind of a premonition of what was going to happen to her because he screams something. He's like, "You think you and your little yellow robot friend could save you?" He starts
okay.
the robot. So
right, and as we're thinking this is way over the top, then suddenly she wakes up and puts the chair against the door.
Yeah.
So it was all a dream. Dream number one.
To me, though, makes it seem like, even though they didn't specify it in the movie, to me it makes it me think that he's also a diddler.
Right. Yeah, that's why she's having the nightmares.
Yeah.
The way he came in there in the nightmare was very diddler vibes. It's like, yeah, this is creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and he checks all the and he remember when he got her from the neighbor's house, from Paul's house.
Yeah. Right away.
He goes off on her, and he's like, "You think you're gonna be like your bitch mother or whatever, and run off and leave me?"
Yanks her out of their house by her arm.
Yeah. So apparently, her mom and his, I guess, wife or whatever she was, ran off, and now he's like abusive and super. I would say protective, but obviously he's like a beater and a diddler.
Controlling.
So,
yeah.
He's very controlling because her mom ran off.
A beater and a diddler.
Yeah, and obviously a drunk, as we find out later in the movie when the mousetrap is set.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's got the trifecta. Yeah. Beat, diddle, drink. Yeah.
So as soon as he tells her, not to leave the house, she starts spending all of her time at Paul's house.
Yeah, that part kind of threw me off. I mean, I know they showed that one time that he was like passed out on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
His other friend too. He has another friend, the ignoramus, the one who doesn't know what the fuck is what.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Paul's friend Tom?
Yeah, the super sheltered Tom, the paper boy.
All right. When we first see him, he's riding a bike and the front wheel hits the curb and he does like a complete flip over the curb and
because he sees BB
lands on his face.
Yeah, but he spends the entire movie with this dumb grin on his face.
Yeah.
The robot, I believe, was smarter than Tom. I'm sorry, Tom.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The robot was smarter than your character.
When Ann Ramsey pulls the shotgun on them for the first time, Tom says to them, she's put that thing, she pulled that thing on me 1,000,000 times.
Don't worry about it. She's pulled that shotgun on me 1,000,000 times.
Like someone waving hello to me, but at this point.
Yeah.
And then as he leaves, he says, "Don't forget tomorrow. I have to collect."
Oh yeah. And so, they're playing basketball outside her house in the street, and of course they missed the rim.
This is the true beginning of the Grudge. This is where the Grudge really.
Oh yeah.
And they overshoot the basket, and the basketball lands on her, wraparound porch.
Well, they had BB. Remember, they had BB. They tell BB his friends say,
"Oh yeah, it was
take
BB.
a shot. Let BB." And you know how BB's hand is.
Yeah, he's got the choke hand.
He can't throw it.
Take the overhead behind the back of the head shot instead of the rim.
So it's BB's fault that they lose the basketball because they panic when they see where it lands, and sure enough, she comes out.
She comes out
and grabs that basketball.
Yeah, she does the old man don't get on my lawn thing, and she picks the basketball up, and they all look at her like, "Oh, she's going to give us."
You damn kids, get off my lawn!
For a second, though, she has the look on her face. They have the look on their face like, oh, she's going to give us our basketball back. And then she throws it at her house and says, it's on my property. That means it's mine.
My property, my basketball. Like an old goblin.
Well, and that's also where there's some foreshadowing because
he
makes the comment
let's
that
not
BB
talk about that just yet.
Okay.
Oh, let's not. A certain
put a pin in that.
A certain sports equipment item that may be used for a homicide later on.
No. I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about how they were thinking of going to get the basketball, and they and he was saying that BB could open that padlock, lickety split, which to me foreshadows. I wasn't talking about the ball. I know what you're talking about, but how he told him, "Oh yeah, BB could pop that padlock off in a second."
Right.
And we see
which comes into play
we see that
later.
BB-10 pop that lock off in a second.
Yeah.
Yep. So they've lost their basketball.
She's pulling the
then,
shotgun every time someone shows up at her front door.
She does.
Yeah, she pulls out a double barrel shotgun.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, the guy did say she does this a million times. So.
Right.
You know what I would really like to see? A prequel just about her life and how she ended up that way.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking that too.
Yeah, you know what I would like to see, Han? I would like to see that robot paid a little bit more attention to. Maybe if they would have gave that robot a little bit more love, the kind of things that happened in that movie wouldn't have happened. Now, that's just coming from me, your good friend, Pando Lando. Just think about it for a little while, fellas.
Wait, Pando Lando, how does that even work?
You just got to love the robot, Darius. You should know this. I mean, look at your face. You obviously have loved some robots in your time.
Well,
you know exactly what
my mother was a human, my father was a robot, so
See,
that's how I ended up looking like this.
It's a wonderful world to live in, Darius.
That's why I always keep a can of WD-40 by the bed.
Also, all right, with that
box of tissues.
With that whole thing, all right, like we're still at the beginning of where the shit goes.
But do we go from
robot love? Wait, also watching this movie again, I think this is probably like the third or fourth time that I've sat through this movie within like 15 years, maybe a little longer. I think there might be some sort of weirdness with robot love at the end, and that's what makes BB split out. But anyway, we're not at that point yet. We're not at BB's evolution yet.
Well, Slasher, can we skip ahead to that part? Because that's the part that I'm actually looking forward to.
All right, we can't go into not all right. We have to go into all right.
What's up, Haster? I see Haster's got his WD-40 too.
Hey, Hester.
So does it go from basketball to Halloween?
No, Halloween was first, wasn't it?
I honestly don't remember the order of some of these events.
Yeah, I don't remember the order either.
All right. Spoiler alert: BB dies on Halloween. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, so the basketball had to be before Halloween.
Yeah.
The basketball was before Halloween.
And then I think it went from the basketball scenario to...
No, because
Halloween.
The girl became BB after BB was dead.
BB died on Halloween.
Right. So far, they just lost the basketball.
BB got blasted on her doorstep Halloween night. She came out.
Yeah, because on Halloween...
They decided to pull a prank on old crazy Mama Fratelli.
Yeah, and ring her doorbell.
Yep.
Well, I thought they were trying to get their basketball back, but yeah, so they got BB to work the padlock, pop it open so they can get up through the gate onto the porch, and Sam sneaks up and rings the doorbell And then the alarm goes off.
Alarm starts going off.
Yeah. And she starts freaking out. And then all of them. Yeah. Well, all three of them go and hide in the bushes, except for BB.
Instead of running out the gate.
Instead of running out the gate, I don't understand why they didn't run out the gate.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
Well, because they knew she was going to come out that front door with a shotgun at any moment, and then she'd have a clear shot at them.
Well, also he shuts off BB before they do that. Remember, he takes his remote and shuts off BB, but as soon as she comes out waving the shotgun,
somehow BB turns himself back on.
Because he senses danger for Paul.
See, BB was also like a predator, like how the predator will only go after armed people or people that are dangerous. Like maybe BB has like predator type tendencies.
He's got protective tendencies.
Yeah,
towards his creator.
The very first part we're introduced to BB, he's strangling some dude who broke into the van. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was just some trucker who's trying to steal from the family van, and then BB just chokes the guy, and the guy runs away.
We know right from the start that BB's vicious.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's kind of what threw me off, and I'm slightly getting ahead, but not a lot. Is I thought the whole movie was going to be BB, and that's who the deadly friend was.
Wait a minute. Can we back this up again? You're slightly getting ahead. Wait a minute. What's going on?
No, getting ahead.
Oh, okay. You got to clarify these things with me.
Don't pay attention to something hitting the bottom of my desk.
Right. So it's been established that BB can be quite dangerous. And that he's very protective of Paul.
And super strong.
Not very good with basketball.
Yeah. But can throw you through the windshield of a cop car.
Yep. And he's already identified threats in the neighborhood. And so when Mama Fratelli comes out with her shotgun, she doesn't see the kids hiding around the side of the house in the bushes.
Yeah. BB opened the gate and then went to the side, and then Paul shuts him off.
Yeah, so he won't. Won't go up there.
These three idiots, instead of being outside, decide to run to the side of the fucking bushes in her house, past the gate, and then BB turns on automatically, starts.
BB.
And slowly makes his way towards Mama Fratelli while she's having a shit fit, and she starts blasting away with the shotgun.
Thank God that you brought this out, Slasher. Once again, it proves my innocence. Thank you.
To me, the best part of that scene was she's got a double barrel shotgun. She hits him with one barrel. She hits him with the second barrel. And in her fucking night coat or whatever. Yeah, in her fucking night coat. Which means she carries this around all the time. In her fucking night coat or robe, whatever she was wearing, she pulls more shells out of the pocket and loads two more shotgun shells.
This is what I don't get for her mentality. After she does that, she looks to the side and sees that the kids are hiding behind the bushes on her actual property past the gate. She smiles and gives them a nod and then walks back inside. It's like,
well, because she knows that she's killed the robot and it's going to upset them. So I think that to her it was like, ha ha ha, fuck you.
But then why not?
What she should have did.
Off my property before I kill you. I'm saying she had the Clint Eastwood get off my lawn mentality to the extreme.
Right. She should have started shooting and flushed them out like quail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying that was not her character probably would have put the shotgun in their face like, now you guys take this steaming pile of junk off my lawn. And she would have been fucking freaking out.
Yeah, I see your point to that. Yeah, it was kind of weird that she knew her gate was open and they were in her yard, and she just went back in the house.
That's right. You stop littering on my lawn, damn kids.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. She should have run them off.
These damn kids are leaving their junk on my lawn.
She should have run them off and like shut the gate back or something, and then went in the house. She still could have did her like little ha ha fuck you nod because she killed their robot. Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of weird that she leaves her gate just wide open, knowing they're in her yard, and she just goes back in the house.
Yeah, she was going back in for more shells.
She could have been. She only had 2 extras in her house coat.
Her house coat.
So poor BB. Poor BB is dead. And then next thing you know,
R.I.P.
And the next thing you know, poor Sam is getting beat by her dad.
Again.
We actually get to see it though. We actually get to see it instead of a nightmare or a implication when you see her bruised arm. Like we actually see her.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. One thing we didn't talk about was the first time he meets Sam. The way she has her arms, you see like hand print marks on her arm. So automatically you're like, oh yeah, her dad beats the fucking shit out of her. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Slasher.
Maybe she was a bad girl.
Oh Jesus.
Okay.
Well, not yet.
Sorry. Don't beat your kids.
Especially not like this guy.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't hear the background music that was playing for him. You know, he's the drunken Riddler, he's the fiddler, and he's the midnight diddler.
But yeah, we get to see him actually not just manhandle her, but start beating the shit out of her.
Yeah.
And she accidentally falls down the stairs.
She has an accidental spill down the stairs.
He told her not to. He told her to clean her stuff off the stairs and not be skateboarding down the stairs.
She had her stuff all over the stairs. She did.
Yeah.
Or at least the scumbag says so. They're putting.
Yeah, that's what he tells. That's what he tells the police and everybody is. I told her to clean all her stuff up off the stairs. She fell. Well, yeah, she fell, but you like punched her in the fucking forehead and made her fall. Yeah.
With the right cross.
You may or may not have had something to do with it.
The first time he hits her was a slap. I think the second one was a punch. I swear I think it was a punch.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, we have to assume that he's down to punch her because when she shows up with the bloody nose, when she shows up with the bloody nose before what we're talking about, I doubt that's coming from just a slap across the face. So, I'm pretty sure the bloody nose was from a punch. So, he starts and then works his way up. He starts with berating her and saying that she's like her whore mom that ran away, and then he slaps her, and then eventually he punches her.
Arm grabbing leads to face punching.
Yeah.
And with this guy's whole schedule.
Which leads to stair falling.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's piled up at the bottom of the steps. Oh no, wait a minute. She's not technically dead.
No.
She twitches. You see her twitching a little bit, and he's at the top of the steps still talking shit.
Yeah, but he realizes that she won't come to. So
he's talking shit like it's a fucking UFC fight. Like, you want to get her? You want to know what real punishment is? He starts saying some weird shit.
But then he realizes she won't wake up. And he's like, oh shit. So they take her to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells the cops and everybody, told her to clean her stuff up off the stairs. She tripped over some shit and fell down the stairs.
And Paul and his mom already know that she's abused.
Yeah. See, I'm calling Bullstein on that for one reason. Because if he was progressively beating her like that, at that point when she fell down the steps and didn't get back up, he would have beat her for not getting up after he did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe he did because we don't see him call the cops or anything. Maybe there was a deleted scene where he beats the shit out of her unconscious body for fucking another 5 minutes.
It goes from him realizing that she's not going to get up to the ambulance and everybody being there. So what happened in between there, we don't know. He could have punched, kicked, diddled. We don't know.
Maybe all the above.
Yeah, could have been all of the above.
He might have had a checklist going. You don't know.
Oh, man. Be like a parallel with the robot.
Slap, punch, kick, diddle. Check.
Oh my god.
Right? Repeat loop.
He's like, I checked everything off my list today. I should probably go call an ambulance.
Brilliant.
So they go to the hospital, and she is not conscious and not in good shape.
She's hurting for certain.
Yeah.
Yep. And next thing I remember though is she's in the hospital room in the bed, and they're basically telling her dad it's not looking good, and he says basically, all right, pull the plug on her.
Like a fucking scumbag piece of shit.
Well, before that, they show her and they got her head cracked open, and you can see her brain.
Oh yeah,
which comes into play.
That is relevant.
Also, kind of convenient, right? A little bit convenient, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, I was just working on brains 5 days ago.
I don't really think to realize you're brain dead, they need to actually open your head. But conveniently,
yeah, Darius,
they opened
this movie
a thing on her head.
Darius,
was it what?
This movie? I know you always go on about movie science. Was this Hollywood science? I know you.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, it was. And I'll get back to that when we get to the chip. But yeah, as far as the convenience of her head just being busted open, like she wouldn't go into like a regular hospital room for a head injury like that. She'd go straight into the ER.
But yeah, we see her basically in an operating room with all the doctors standing around, and one of them also happens to be the professor that Paul is working with at the college.
Right.
And they have cut a piece out of the top of her skull and have it laid open, and they're standing there saying basically that she's brain dead. And then they tell everybody, well, I mean, she's on life support, but she's brain dead.
There was nothing they could do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically,
he says, "What are you talking about?" He throws a fit. He said,
and then runs home like a little bitch.
He could do something, and he does do something, and it's like a fucking 20 or 30-minute ordeal with what they do. Holy fucking shit!
Oh, you mean Paul and Tom?
Yeah.
And then they had to go roofie colada his mom.
Well, yeah.
They had to go to the. All right. They left out the scene where they had to cop those drugs.
Yeah.
They could have
they had to go into the city.
45-minute long scene of where these two little young white boys had to go to the fucking ghetto and cop. Let me get the Cosby special. I want a fucking bag of that shit.
No, they just didn't want to pay Bill Cosby for that scene.
What we also learn is, for whatever reason, which plays into the plot of the movie after this, but for whatever reason, they're only going to keep her on life support for X amount of time, and then they're going to pull the plug.
Yeah.
He tried to kill his mom with this whole ordeal. There's a possibility.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
and we even see later on he could have killed his mom with this whole ordeal.
Yeah, because so when they get the drugs from the ghetto, and Tom comes over for dinner.
How did they get this plan to fucking get the room available to do the surgery?
I don't remember. No idea. I don't remember that at all.
He took her to the college, and I guess he figured it in the middle of the night. No, but because they did it in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So he used the same room that you see him poking the brain and making it kick the professor.
All right.
He used
Okay.
the same room. They originally take her to the college.
Well, so that's why they roofie the mom while she's serving them pie, right? And she makes a cup of coffee. And he puts powder in it, and it doesn't mix. So he mixes it with his finger when his mom's not looking. That's a lot.
Huge bag. A huge
Yeah,
bag.
it was like a huge amount of
Yeah.
powder.
Oh yeah, dude. In Detroit, that's like $100 worth of Coke. You know, that size amount of powder that you. Not that I would know, but he puts that in the coffee.
He dumped so much in there. It's just like sitting on the top of the coffee.
That kid's poor mother. Holy shit.
She was out for like a year.
Yeah, and she's like, "This is a good cup of coffee." You know, it's like a GHB espresso. And so he's telling his mom too, like, "Oh, you look tired, Mom." She's like, "Nah, I'm fine."
Well, you missed one funny part
Hmm.
where they're both sitting there. Remember, they're drinking their milk, and she's sitting there, and she goes drink her coffee, and she's sitting there, and she goes, "Man, I make a good cup or a good pot of coffee," and his friend fucking spits milk everywhere.
Spit take. Yeah. Oh, it's up in Emporio.
Yeah. But yeah, then they're watching TV and waiting for her to roofie out.
Right.
Hello, nerd.
And he keeps telling her she looks tired, it's getting late, and she's like, "Shut up." And then she sits up and then just stops. And you realize, like, oh, there she goes. She's out.
Well,
so now
we also, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Derek. We also find out that in that scene that they moved the time of pulling the plug earlier than it was supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which crunches their timeline of being able to do what his plan is.
Oh, him and his doofus ignorant friend. they have this how they said something about his friend's father, like his father, like he took his father's keys or something. Is that
they
how
steal
they got
the van.
into the hospital? That's
Well, no,
the van was his mother's. I'm saying,
yeah,
like,
they end up stealing
to the hospital.
Yeah, Tom won't steal his dad's car, so they end up roofing Paul's mom and stealing their Volkswagen van.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell did they get into the hospital?
Remember, they went in through the handicap entrance, which went into like the boiler room, where it also just so happened to be the whole
the laundry cart. Yes, with the laundry cart. Okay, that's right.
Laundry cart.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it also happened to be where the whole power control panel for the whole entire hospital was.
Right. And Tom waited there next to the controls while Paul pulled like a doctor's coat out of the laundry and wheeled the laundry cart onto the elevator and went up to the 4th floor. And
Tom cut the power too soon.
Too soon. And then somehow
he panics and cuts the power too soon.
Yeah, because like guards are walking through there. And so Paul's on the elevator and he freaks out, but then for some reason the elevator still arrives at the 4th floor anyway.
Yeah, see that I didn't get that part because the elevator shouldn't have been doing anything. It shouldn't, other than like an emergency light or something.
Yeah, because
it was like it was going 3rd floor, 4th floor, 3rd floor, 4th floor.
By the time he gets off the elevator, you see there's no power, right, in the hallway.
But somehow,
but then it comes back on.
Yeah, somehow it made it to the 4th floor and the doors open,
right,
with no power to start with.
Right, and that's how he's able to get off the elevator incognito, and nobody notices because he's like in costume with the laundry cart, and everyone else is like evacuating the hospital.
Yeah. Even though he's 15.
Right.
But we are. 15,
don't mind me. I'm just a 15-year-old doctor pushing the laundry cart.
But he's also a super genius, so he knows what to do.
Well, that's true. He is a super genius.
Yeah. And so he basically stuffs Sam's body in the laundry cart and wheels it out.
What we missed before that, Darius, is the
groping?
dad is there.
Oh,
the dad is there with all the doctors.
I thought you were going to say we were going to miss them groping her when they put her in the van.
No, the dad's there. Remember, the dad is there with all the doctors, and remember, his mom says, "Oh, well, they moved it to 9 o'clock." And he's like, "Well, holy shit! I hope I roofied her enough because we need to get there." And then at like 8:58 or something like that, all the doctors and the dad are standing there waiting on the deadline to pull the plug. And the dad's like, why don't you just go on and pull it already? And they pull the plug on Sam.
I'm
So by the
surprised.
time he gets there,
I'm surprised he didn't give her a right cross while she was dead.
diddle one last time.
No.
Let me get a diddle for the road.
Oh,
Could y'all leave us?
or don't you die on me?
Could you all leave me alone with my daughter for a minute before we pull the plug? And they shut the door, and he's like, "Let me get a diddle for the road." But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Darius. Yeah, they put her in a laundry basket.
Going out of champions.
But by the time they get there, she's stone cold dead because they pulled the plug early and all the life support machines. Because if you remember, the original plan was he took a battery and shit, and he was going to leave her on life support.
Yeah.
When they stole her.
I don't remember. I do try to stay in chronological order, but I don't remember all the details. So thank you. I forgot about the battery.
Yeah, he and that's why when he first went in there and looked around, they had already cleaned out all the life support equipment because he had told him, he had told Tom, he's like, oh, this is a battery to run the life support system.
Okay.
So they were going to run her on life support with that battery until they could get her to the college, I'm assuming, because that's where they end up taking her.
But he was too late. So he stuffed her pre-rigger body into the laundry cart.
Which really freaked Tom out.
Yeah, and you just see him wheeling out the laundry cart to the van. Yeah, Tom freaks out. And they take her over to the college. And her skull is still...
Tom was cool and collected this whole movie.
Because he's an imbecile. But
the character we're introduced to by him tripping over the curb on his bike and falling face first.
Yeah. So he
that
takes.
Kind of know what we're gonna see out of this guy the rest of the movie.
Yeah, he's like a lackey basically. So they take her over to the college, and her skull is still, cut open from the hospital. And so Paul, just like when he had poked that brain earlier and caused the body to move, he takes basically a socket for a processor with these long needles attached to the bottom of the plate.
Yeah, like crazy long needles.
Right. And he puts that through the hole in her skull into her brain. And then he basically mounts a Pentium chip into the top of it. Totally different than what he showed us earlier about BB's brain.
Yeah.
Right, because after BB was brutally murdered by Mama Fratelli, and after Sam had the plug pulled on her, we get a moment where he's looking at a picture of him, Sam, and BB.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
A microchip is there. There's a microchip.
Oh, that's right. He's got it in like a little plastic case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that was the only thing he saved with BB.
Like an SD card, shit like that.
Yeah. Okay. See, I don't remember that.
It was, but it still wasn't what they showed as BB's brain.
It wasn't the same one he showed Tom in the beginning. It wasn't that same one.
So maybe he built a new one and then just modified it for a human brain with the needles so that they could electrically communicate with the brain matter through the chip. So basically, he's taking a brain dead human and he's installing a computer chip with an artificial intelligence into it, and then the electricity stimulates her brain and body again. And at first, he thinks that nothing's happened.
Which they never actually show it, but if you notice at the beginning, they have. Well, I'll use my headphones. They have that clamp thing. Well, I did it the wrong way. They have that clamp thing with the black things on it, which to me looks like something you would see in an old movie where they're doing shock therapy to people in insane asylums. So, they don't never show it, but I'm assuming once they put that chip in, they shock her.
Right, which jump-started her nervous system, which jump-started her heart again. And even though she'd been dead long enough to have brain damage, now she has the BB chip.
Because then when they show it, when they're still at the college, when they show it just a little bit after him putting the chip in, you see the thing that was on her head to start with, but it's like behind her.
Mm-hmm.
So like, to me, it's like, yeah, they put the chip in, they like shocked her with electricity and awakened everything.
Yeah. We never see her need to heal though, the skull.
See, that kind of, and again, obviously I'm not a doctor. I don't know if y'all know that or not. That kind of bothered me. And I know it was for the movie. And maybe they left it like that hypothetically because she was
maybe he had some crazy glue on him when he was in the fucking hospital doing surgery on her. Who knows?
But well, no, they stitched the flap of skin because you see him cut the stitches.
In her skull.
Okay.
Yeah, the skull, but he cuts the stitches and then immediately just pulls the skin back open. There's nothing under the skin between the brain and the skull.
Yeah.
They just left an open piece of skull that just so happens to be big enough to put a BB processor in.
Okay. And so at first he thinks that nothing's happened and it didn't work. And then what happens, hon?
She moves a toe. Did you see that? She moved her toe.
Wiggle your big toe.
We actually didn't see her wiggle her toe, but he swears she wiggled her toe.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she, like, Tom is like, what are you crazy? And then she kicks Tom in the face. Isn't that?
That's because the whole time Paul's just thinking, like, just as long as the toe's moving, she's alive enough for me.
If the toe moves, that's consent. Here we go.
Oh, you guys are
Yes,
wrong.
I took it there. I'm sorry. I apologize, everybody. Yes, I took it there.
Even in death, she can't catch a break.
Yeah.
Poor zombie girl. Leave her alone.
Oh wait.
You want zombies, Carol's Cookies? That's how you get zombies.
Well, I don't have a robot to take its brain from.
Carol, whose defense do you take when it comes to Sam or BB? When it comes to them versus old crotchety lady with the shotgun.
Wait, what do I do? Whose side am I on? I like the crotchety old lady.
You like old lady with the shotgun.
I do like the crotchety old lady, but I do like zombies. But she was like a robot android zombie, so I like the natural zombie better. So I'm going with the old lady.
I'm going with the zombie because the zombie had a legit grudge. Zombie had a legit grudge.
I'm going with they should have did a name change on this movie and they should have called it Diddly Friend. Would have made more sense.
Well, all right, BB wasn't going around grabbing kids' fucking asses and shit like that. So.
They made a prequel, Tommy, called Diddly Dad. It's the backstory of his wife leaving him and him starting to abuse Sam.
Oh, I think I seen that one. Wasn't it titled Diddler on the Roof?
What's wrong with you guys?
Yeah, so then he takes Sam and puts her in his garage. Paul and Tom take Sam and put her in his garage.
That's where you put all your ex-girlfriends.
And make her like a homeless person caught on the floor with like an old mattress and a sleeping bag.
Mm-hmm.
And leave her in the garage.
Once again, I'm going back to Diddler Friend.
Well, she gets up and goes to the window of the garage and looks out and sees Sam's father through the window.
All right, wait,
and then turns.
First of all, you totally skipped over the part where they fucking come back. All right, they drugged his mom.
Oh yeah,
they drugged his mom, and then they come back to the house, and his friend is, and Tom is like, your mom might be dead. Check on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom
Got that
picks up a cushion and throws it back on the couch, thinking it's going to wake her up, and she's like stone cold
they have
out.
to wake her up after Cosbying the fuck out of her.
And
no, I'm pretty sure that guy, the character Tom in that movie, was thinking like, look, we better do something about this. She could be dead. We better get to this before it gets cold.
Ah.
We also missed the part after she roofied. We also glazed over the part after she roofied out and they steal the van, or Paul steals the van keys. As they go to get in the van, Tom's like, "But she could die." And Paul said, "Shut up and get in the van."
Yeah, he did.
And then they come home.
When they come
back, at the beginning, we think she's dead.
On her, she might be dead. It's like, wow, that's fucked up. You little genius maniac, you.
This is savage. But she's not dead. She wakes up.
It takes a lot of shaking, but yeah, she eventually wakes up.
She's basically a Schrodinger's cat.
Oh, she's both dead and alive. Yeah. It's like Sam. It's parallels. So Sam's out in the garage. And, like, he's not sure how much is Sam and how much is BB, right? As, this chip is brand new. And this is, never been done before. But... And basically, BB didn't have the functionality of a human body before. He couldn't even throw a basketball, right? He had like 3 fingers.
Well,
he was always choking people. Right.
He threw it over his head.
He could grab balls and strangle people, but he can't fucking shoot a basketball.
Right. So he's, Paul's unclear on like how deep the integration is between BB and Sam. But she goes to he thinks it's just BB because Sam is dead. But she goes to the window and sees, Sam's father. And turns to Paul and gives him that look, just this dead-eyed stare. And, he knows. Because he knows that BB knows.
Yeah.
And BB knows that man is
BB's
a baddie.
Making a list, checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice and then murder you. Kind of like Santa Claus with no presents.
Yeah.
And with robot claws.
The other thing I thought was funny was he could still use the BB remote to turn her off and on.
Oh yeah.
Because remember, he guides her back to the homeless cot in the corner of the garage, and then powers her down and goes in the house.
Put the chip in her brain. Tom was laughing at him when he tried to turn her on with the remote.
Yeah.
I don't know, fellas. I like the way you're going with this. Turning her on with a remote. This is right up my alley. I love everything about this. This is better than that Star Wars sequel stuff that I was in. Let's do it.
Yeah. And I said, oh, yeah, every man wishes he had that remote. And Carol Skippy said, you're terrible.
We did talk about that while watching the movie.
Bad.
Bad.
I wish I had that remote for my girlfriend. Oh! But yeah, so yes, like Han says, the remote still works for some reason. And what's the next thing that happened?
In the next thing that happens, he hears breaking glass.
He's awakened in the shack, whatever the fuck that was that he had.
Tool the love shack.
Yeah. If only.
Yeah, he gets woken up wakes up or gets woken up by breaking glass, and he runs out there, and she somehow has animated herself without the remote.
Mm-hmm. See, also this could also go into the whole robot sex thing, right? So BB, he calls BB he, right? Doesn't he refer to BB as he, right? Sam,
yeah.
Obviously,
yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Sam obviously is she, right? So BB and Sam combined. When BB finally looks into the mirror and sees that it's the form of Sam, Did that give BB vibes like this dude wants to fuck me?
Oh no, because then
damn right he does, and I endorse that part of that movie all the way.
Because the next thing Sam does is grabs the photograph of all of them together and then gets very upset.
Yeah, because at that point, Sam thought she was BB, or BB thought it was BB,
Mm-hmm.
and then sees the picture of Sam, Paul, and BB, and then looks in the mirror and sees Sam.
When Sam moves around, she has her little hands out like.
Oh yeah, that was the best part of the movie.
It's BB mode.
The whole time she had because BB only had pincher things. How she holds her hands, and she does the whole robot like you were talking about, like turning her head like a robot.
And shit.
Yeah.
But she's doing that though. But we also see she's capable of diving out of windows onto people like full force, like a SWAT team member or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So she's got super strength for some reason.
Because BB had super strength.
BB was built with a body made out of metal and hydraulics.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a gap in the
whole
thing.
No, technically no. Because if somebody can actually turn off that part of their brain that actually is part of the fear factor, where people won't overexert themselves out of fear of hurting themselves. Like once that's turned off, technically somebody could be stronger than they naturally are. That's how you get people that maybe could move a car, or like there was one story about a guy moved part of a helicopter off a kid that was trapped underneath it.
Are you saying it's like someone who has nothing but adrenaline running through their veins 24/7?
Right. Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
if that part of your
like
brain, if that part of your brain is turned off, saying that you can get injured, you can wind up doing a lot more than what you normally could. So technically, the extra strength can be explained.
We were also talking about this during the movie, like when she starts like running through the jumping over cop cars, running through them. It's just like this is kind of like a fucking thing you would see on anti-drug PCP shit back in the day.
Winners don't use drugs.
This is your brain on drugs. This is your brain on mechanical drugs. See what happens, kids?
And we also, I don't say we have to say, but we should also touch on the fact that up until this point, Sam/BB doesn't speak.
Right.
I think you might hear. Wait, there's a point where you actually hear Sam go. BB.
That's what I'm saying. But at the beginning, though, there's no speaking.
That's later on. That's right.
Yeah. Towards the end, yeah. I think it's the first time you hear it is when Biker Balls guy. Isn't that the first time you hear Sam/BB say anything when he's chasing after her because she runs off?
Wait.
Well, the first one she comes in contact with is the father, the diddler.
Yeah, the diddler.
That's the new Batman villain, people.
And that is one of the.
Also, now when you're saying he and she, I don't know if you mean BB or Sam when they're separated, or when BB and Sam are.
I'm just saying I'm just saying Sam/BB once he put the chip in her head.
I'm just saying everything we know about this movie and everything we talked about this movie was so progressive before progressive was even a thing. I mean, you got a he-she robot going on.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's trans allegory.
But yeah, her Sam going to her father's house. To me, that was one of the funniest parts of the movie because she sets a trap.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
She makes noise in the basement,
like a Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry.
She makes noise in the basement. The father goes to check and see what the noise is, and halfway down the stairs is like a little, I don't know, was it a fifth, whatever that is, a little bottle of bourbon, like just laying on the stairs.
Yeah,
it's his house. how would he not know? Like, how would that bourbon be there and him not know it was already there? But he's like,
Maybe
oh shit, there's some
he
bourbon.
dropped it there last night.
And
Yeah.
Well, he's already sweating his balls off.
Oh yeah. There's so much sweat in this movie. And then he goes down there to get the bottle of bourbon, and she reaches from behind the stairs.
Sweat graphics were off the chart.
Yeah, she pulls him and makes him fall down the stairs.
Right. Poetic justice.
Yeah. But the whole bourbon bottle trap, that was so fucking hilarious because he's like, what the fuck's that noise? Who's down? Oh, damn, a bottle of bourbon.
Oh, look at this.
Whoa, look at that. A bottle of bourbon. Hot damn, it's my lucky day. I may or may not like to drink.
I'm just saying that would have been hilarious if that wasn't his brand.
Yeah. But if I randomly saw a bottle of bourbon on one of the steps in my house, I'd be like, where the fuck did that bottle of bourbon come from? I wouldn't be like, oh man, a bottle of bourbon. It's my lucky day.
You've been staring at, is that aged? Like, I'm not going to waste my time if that's not aged.
Yeah.
He doesn't remember where he left anything. Well, yeah, it's like he's like a mouse finding a piece of cheese. She lured him into the trap.
She gets a gruesome kill on him.
Oh yeah. Does she strangle him?
Well, first she breaks his,
and, burns
his hand.
Yeah, first he goes to hit her and she grabs it with her super strength.
Oh yeah,
just
bends the hand back,
breaks it back.
Yep,
and then grabs him and sticks him against the furnace, and he starts his back and everything starts sizzling.
Yep, getting even sweatier.
Yeah, and then that's when she goes super crazy with the superhuman strength, and he's screaming because his back is sizzling the whole time, and then we get the Steven Seagal.
Yep.
I want to know what happened to the plans they sent you.
If this is a diplomatic ship, where is the ambassador? Oh yeah. So she Steven Seagal's his neck and then roasts him.
And then
like a pig on a spit.
And then Paul goes looking for her because
comes back and has to clean up the mess she made.
Well, Paul realizes she's gone, and he goes running around the neighborhood looking for her and can't find her. And then when he comes back to his house, he notices Sam's house. There's black smoke billowing out the chimney.
Yeah.
So he goes in there and finds the partially charred remains of Sam's dad and Sam in the basement.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, she Steven Seagal'd him and then stuck half of him in the furnace and fried him to a crisp. And then Sam, because he's a really good person, helps her throw the body in some back corner of the basement behind the slats of wood that were there for some reason.
No, it wasn't that Paul was a really good person. It was Paul was just that hard up.
Yeah, well, he grabs a shovel and starts shoveling something, and I couldn't figure out what he was shoveling.
Yeah, I never could because the body was still a body, so I don't know what he was shoveling. And I don't think any of us could really figure out what he was shoveling.
Well, there was an arm in there. You did see there was an arm in there?
Oh, was there? I must have missed that part. And so maybe some of him came apart when it was being burned, and he was throwing the pieces.
Oh, and he also has a nightmare about it later too.
Well, I'm kind of curious, how many people have an old school furnace that's actually a mortuary fire pit? Just curious.
Everyone that's in a Wes Craven movie.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty much.
We didn't. It was updated before we moved in the house, but I actually lived in a house that still had the old school coal chute when they used to come and deliver coal. The door was sealed.
Coal chute sounds like a dirty term right there.
Well, it used to.
Take it up the old coal chute.
used to, they would deliver like coal to houses for the furnace. And the house I lived in had like this big cast iron door on the outside, which was sealed shut. And you could see the other side of it on the inside. And that's when they would open it and the person delivering the coal would. That's why I was saying maybe that was an old coal, because everybody was like, why is he throwing them back there behind some weird random wood? And I was like, well, maybe that's like an old coal chute or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the house I grew up in was built in like the 20s, I think.
Oh, okay.
So it still had like the old school. The chute wasn't there, just the door was there. But in the if you went down in the basement and you could see the inside of it, and if you were on the outside, it was because when they quit doing coal and all that stuff, and like I said, this was in the 80s. It obviously had an updated heating and air system. But instead of like sealing up the house, they just left the coal thing there and just like sealed it so you couldn't.
No, well, most people would just take those and just convert them over to a regular window, or maybe even they would just board them up. Like my grandfather's old house in Trenton, that's what they did. They just kind of boarded up the old coal chute window instead of changing.
Yeah, this one was sealed somehow. It may have been welded shut or something like that, because you couldn't open it anymore. But that's all they did. They just sealed the coal chute door and left it in the the side of the house, or the foundation of the house.
So her dad's dead.
I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent there for a second. I'm sorry.
That's the coal chute.
Yeah, and so he goes home and starts seeing this lump moving under the blanket in his bed. And at first, we think it's probably, Sam/BB.
Yeah.
Coming up to him.
I think somebody said initiate head.exe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was me. And, but then when the head pops out from under the blanket, it's the charred head of the diddle dad. And he freaks out.
Oh, no.
And then he wakes up.
I just almost spit beer on everything when you said diddle dad.
The Daddler.
Yeah, the Daddler. It was a dream. So that's our second nightmare of the movie.
He diddles and he daddles.
And wasn't it at that point also that he moved her into his just so happens to be awesome attic?
He had to.
In his closet. Yeah,
he couldn't leave her anywhere, so he had to bring her up into the attic.
Yeah, he took her. He
because the mom found the sleeping bag outside,
and she ran from the garage, which is why he went to find her. And then Diddle Dad burning happened, and then that's when I think he moved her.
How many bodies did he have under her belt? How many bodies did she have under her belt when she was BB Sam before he moved her up to the attic? Because she kill like when she was living in the shack outside, she only killed like 2 people, right? So I think it took 2 murders for him to finally be like, okay, I gotta move you upstairs. I can't remember.
Did she do 2? Well, yeah, she did do 2. Yeah, she did do 2.
I know she had at least
moved her upstairs
before he had to move her from the. She had already killed Dad. She had already killed her dad.
Right.
Yeah, and then we get to the crotchety old lady across the street,
who still has the basketball she stole from those poor children.
Oh, the basketball. Oh my God. Could someone bring up a clip of the basketball?
Those children were home wreckers.
That was actually the greatest scene of the whole movie.
It was the greatest scene.
I don't know if you can just find that clip, but that was the greatest scene of the whole movie.
I might have already found it. Let me see.
It might be the greatest scene of all time. When I think about it.
Even NBA players can't pass a basketball like that.
There would be a lot more fatalities in the NBA.
Yeah. Basketball would be way different if they could pass a basketball like that.
Also because it was so well deserved too.
Oh yeah.
It was like basketball vengeance. I also remember a stupid ass song. What was
Well,
it?
so the old lady was actually pretty. She was pretty sharp because like it was hard to sneak up on her, and she always had her gun on her.
Okay.
There's no sound.
Oh,
No, I don't think
There we go. Oh,
I like the twitching.
Oh, yeah.
I
and
like
all-
how also after the head explodes, she like wanders around the living room a little bit, like a chicken with its head cut off.
yeah.
But yeah, that's what happens to
Bravo,
the
filmmaker.
neighbor.
For that
And
alone,
like you said,
that alone.
poetic justice. She does it with the basketball.
Yep.
It's also funny because she taunted her before. BB was taunting her because remember the basketball, like after she sees the fences open for the third time. Oh, second time. Sorry. How the basketball just like bounced out of an empty
Oh
room.
yeah, it like went across the room.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, after the second murder is when he decides I'll move her into my really cool attic that just so happens to be through my closet.
Yeah. For some reason, the stairway to the attic is inside a closet inside his bedroom, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is actually pretty cool.
I'm just watching this on repeat.
What, the
You're
basketball
That explosion.
Yeah. It's incredible.
So what you're saying,
Damn
Darius,
catch.
Darius, you're saying you love the head scene, is what you're saying.
Yep. I love watching it pop.
Ew.
There it goes.
So after that is when Tom shows up on his bike, right? And she like ninja roll leaps out the attic window.
Oh yeah.
Holy
Dive bombs
shit.
out the window.
Yeah, and goes to choke
Dive
Tom
out
out.
the window.
Oh yeah, well, because Tom came over and they got in an argument, and they were in a fight, and Paul punched him in the nose, and his mom came in and was like, "What's going on here? What did you do?"
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he punched him in the nose. He's bleeding.
Oh, Tom said he
mom
was gonna
comes
go to
in.
Tom said he was going to go to the cops about it.
Yeah, Tom runs out of the house saying, "I'm going to call the cops," and then they go outside after Tom, and then we get like the super mega ninja barrel roll
Dive
Sam-
bomb.
Yeah, of Sam
Super
out the
ultra
window.
Spider-Man dive through the window.
She dives like straight out the window and automatically like grabs
right into a
Tom.
tackle.
Yeah, and like grabs Tom up by the neck and was going to basically do him like she did her dad.
And if you listen very carefully in the background, you could hear "Cocaine Ninjas."
Cocaine Ninja. Yeah, pretty much. This was 1986. So
Hey, Tommy, you need to write a script about ninjas. Not ninjas that deal cocaine. Ninjas that do cocaine. That's where they get their power.
Damn right. That sounds like a hell of a story.
You
I
need to
like
do like a series, like that'll be the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I was getting ready to say, do a fan film of the Ninja Turtles if they were addicted to cocaine. That would be really funny.
they're just regular turtles, but they think they're ninjas.
Yeah,
Real turtles.
and they just do lots of
They
cocaine.
think they're ninjas.
And everything they do is in slow motion.
Yeah.
Just slow motion Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
Sounds like
so
a good
so
movie.
she tackles Tom and goes to choke him out and break his neck, and then Paul, pleading with Sam, she lets him go.
Yeah. I mean, she was trying to protect Paul.
Yeah.
Well, you know why? He couldn't stand the idea of her choking anybody's chicken but his own.
Oh no.
I don't know. After the way she grabbed the fucking biker guy's balls, I don't think I'd want her anywhere near my shit. So.
Wasn't that the next one? The next encounter?
Yeah, she takes off running, and Paul, of course, goes after her. And they run and run and run, and
I run
and he,
so
of course,
far
chases her, and
away.
he ends up alone in like a dark back building alley kind of situation. And dangly earring bulge biker dude shows up.
Just happens to show up.
Yeah, to get vengeance for his robot that
Just
he's
by himself just happens to show up.
Yeah, by himself.
And also
he
we get to see how we also get to see how very small the town this is, because every time something happens around that guy, everyone in town knows about it. Because all right, Mama Fratelli knew that Sam got killed. Sam fell down the stairs, quote unquote, and didn't get killed. Whatever. She fucking biker guy knew that BB got blasted with the shotgun by her, because he starts saying shit to the kid when he pulls up on him.
Your robot friend ain't here now. He got blasted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So word gets out real quick around this town.
Yep. And
and they also find her dad, because remember, Mama Fratelli, before she got killed, saw Sam and called the cops.
Mm-hmm.
So the cops go to his house.
Oh yeah,
and
that's right.
End up finding his charred body.
Yeah.
And Sam goes on the run, and of course Paul goes after her, and then that's when we run into dangly earring biker guy. And
with the bulge.
Then with the bulge. Then the cops show up, and she just like straight up fucking presses him over her head.
She Hulk Hogan's him.
Yeah. And then throws him into the cop car windshield.
Gorilla presses him through a fucking cop car windshield.
And kills him.
Mm-hmm.
And then takes off running.
Yep. And Paul goes after her.
It's kind of a cool move when he whoosh.
Kind of a Buffy move, actually.
Well, it was Buffy doing it.
Yeah.
It was the OG Buffy doing it.
So she runs off. Paul runs after her. Cops chase after all of them. And
then he finds her back where she originally started after the whole brain implant thing, in his garage. Cowering in his garage. That's right. In chronological order, isn't that right? Isn't that after the chase?
Well, the next thing I remember is the cops showing up.
Yeah, he looks all over for her, and then he goes back home and finds her cowering in the garage. And then the cops show up at his house.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they've been chasing her all over, and she's been getting away from them.
Mm-hmm. Super fast.
Yeah. So he finally, for whatever reason, Paul finally goes home, and I think, if I remember right, he sees the door to the garage, like the side door of the garage, like ajar.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes in the garage, and she like peeks around some stuff, and then that's when every cop in the whole entire town shows up.
Yeah.
And his mom. Remember, his
Pretty
mom
much,
was also
right?
with him.
It's pretty much every cop in the town shows up.
There's like
Yeah,
12 of
what
them.
was it? All 5?
Yeah, and his mom is also with them.
Yeah. And he's like, he doesn't want anything to happen to her, but she can't really get away because they're surrounded. And the one cop has the gun drawn, pointed at her.
Also,
No, I thought there was 2. I
Wait.
thought both of them that were standing near the garage had their guns pulled.
before the
One on
cops
each side.
Yeah.
Before the cops come in, though, he's giving a heartfelt speech to BB.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about that.
And BB starts flipping out, going back from Sam to BB. We see it. They do predator vision, but like with like it's going from Sam's
Yeah.
vision to BB's vision.
Yeah. It
It's
goes from
sort of
isolated to like
glitch-
looking at
it's a
me
glitch.
like a normal
where
camera, normal
the glitch
vision.
comes in.
And you can tell that it goes from being BB Sam to Sam like accessing her own
Snapping
memory.
out of everything since she got knocked down the stairs. Yes.
Yeah. And she remembers. It's like she sees things in BB vision, but then she remembers him, so it like goes to normal vision, and it keeps like going back, like you said, like a glitch going back and forth, and then the cops show up.
And that's basically what gets Sam/BB Dunsky.
Well, and she also starts talking, like talking.
She says Paul at that one point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
She starts actually talking, not just going.
Not in the BB voice either. Not in the BB voice either.
Because that was one thing we missed. Just backtracking slightly, when biker dangly earring.
Oh yeah, when he comes to finish him off, you hear.
Yeah, around the corner, you hear.
You hear that, but then you see a shadow walking around the corner.
Yeah, and that's the first time we actually hear Dead Sam say anything at all. Is when you see her shadow around the corner going. Baby. Okay, but anyway, we're back to the garage.
Yep. And so there's one cop on each side pointing the gun, and she's been flipping back and forth between Sam and BB. And she basically feels like Paul is in danger. Right?
Yeah, I would agree. And she also...
Paul was getting into... Paul actually got into a kind of lengthy brawl with that fucking idiot dangly earring biking dude. Like that was a longer fight than I thought it would have been because Paul.
Before she showed up and killed the biker dude. Yeah.
In the beginning, and then the rest of the fight was that dude just throwing him around, beating the fuck out of him.
Paul could throw some punches. We saw that several times.
Yeah.
Well, I say not several, a couple times in the movie when he fucking all of a sudden decks his friend in the living room when dangly earring bulge biker dude, he throws some hooks at him. Paul was a little scrapper. He just couldn't get the best of dangly earring bulge biker dude.
He was a nerd, but he got pushed to the edge. So
yeah.
It's like,
but Paul didn't have the meat behind him like the biker did, right?
Huh. Well, I mean, you had to protect your sex robot.
The biker had all the meat in front of him.
Yeah. But the other thing about when the cops show up is as Darius was saying, the glitch. Obviously, this is everybody knows everybody in this town, apparently, and they're even talking to her, calling her Sam, and she keeps glitching like at the cop that is in front of her. There's one on each side, but then there's one in front of her. And, Paul's screaming, don't do anything to her, but she keeps glitching. She's looking at the cop in front of her, pointing the gun, and you see it in like BB vision. Then it keeps going back to like actually seeing it like Sam would.
BB vision.
It's like she remembers all these people from town, you know. And that's when she starts talking like a normal person.
But then
somewhere in there.
Then she goes into kamikaze BB mode.
Yeah,
Slow
protect
because
Paul.
she
slow motion run with her little crab claws up.
Yeah.
yeah, because she's identified all the guns and Paul's there. So, like you were saying, she is in protect, just like BB, protect Paul mode. I've made a list. If you fuck with Paul, you're on my list. And to Sam, all these cops with all these guns, Paul was in danger, not she was in danger. I think is the way. That's the way I saw it anyway. Is
The only thing that was really nonsensical was a cop wouldn't have waited until she was right up on top of him to pull the trigger.
yeah.
No, definitely not.
He literally waited until she went
grabbed,
on him.
Yeah, the cop definitely would have fucking pop.
Because she was literally laying on him.
It also
would like
it wouldn't have been one shot. It would have been pop. Like you're gonna run at me like you're a crab person, a demented crab.
So
Let me
Sam
take
gets shot and killed. Well, not shot. No, she gets shot and also dies for a second time in the movie. Poor girl.
Yeah, that's why you really feel bad for her. She dies twice.
Yeah, she dies twice.
That's fucked up.
And then
Poor
we
girl.
get into what to me is the bad part of the movie is the ending.
Yeah.
I think the ending is. I mean, I'll just say it's bullshit. The ending is bullshit.
Possible nightmare.
I think it was a nightmare because, like we discussed before, we did this. We went live. What happened in the supposed ending couldn't have actually happened.
No,
unless it was a nightmare.
Right.
But the movie ends, and you don't see him like wake up. The movie just ends.
Yeah.
Right. And so, she, after she died the second time, she gets put in like.
And you know what? That also would have been a good point for him to wake up out of the bed with a giant sweaty face, like sweat just dripping off.
Yeah,
it would have been a perfect point to see. Anyway, sorry, Darius.
So she gets.
I agree.
Put in cold storage in the morgue, right? And then he comes and finds her there.
Yeah, because everybody's got access to a morgue like that.
Oh, he has access to everything.
He has access
in this movie. He does.
Like that. He does.
He finds where she is and opens it up.
Well, and he does it on the first try.
Yeah.
Even
he knows
though there's
exactly which one to go to.
Even though there's all those different choices, he finds her on the very first try.
Yep. And I guess he just came to look or to say goodbye, and she starts moving. Like she's not dead.
How do you know? How do you know he wasn't coming with a secondary chip?
Well, when that scene first started, well, it starts, with the two doctors in there talking about, oh, they're going to do an autopsy tomorrow. Are you going to be here? It's going to be crazy to see this autopsy.
Right.
And then they leave and he sneaks in. And my thought was, okay, he's going for reanimation round number 2.
I think that,
he got up his sleeve this time.
I think that and was a stupid dream sequence that they didn't need to throw in. That's what I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Do we not want to spoil the final shot?
No, go ahead.
So he finds her, and she's moving like she's coming back to life, and then she grabs him by the throat, right? And suddenly
she does the "I'm gonna lift you up and Steven Seagal grab to his
which
throat.
she's done many times, but she does it to Paul this time, and then her face starts to melt, and then the skin falls off, and you just see like BB's robot head underneath, and then
and then her arms start melting.
The arms, yep,
yeah, and you see like BB robot arms.
Yep, they come out, and then he pulls back, and the hands detach, and they're like mechanically connected to the arms. Basically, she's like become a robot inside. She's become BB from the inside.
And not only that, a very, very evil BB. Because remember, they like zoom in at the end and you see like grimacing shark teeth BB.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right. That's something out of Elm Street.
Would that be Five Nights at Freddy, BB?
Yeah, because remember, BB originally his mouth was just like two like light strips.
Yeah.
And this BB that busts out of her body somehow has like menacing, horrible teeth.
Mm-hmm. So very cartoonish, very nightmarish. In no way possible. Totally senseless. So I have to think that it's the third and final nightmare of the movie, except the credits roll right after that. We never see him wake up.
Well, what if BB had become a meth head at the end? So those are BB meth teeth.
Maybe if Paul became a meth head and he's having an amphetamine psychosis hallucination.
Well, I totally expected something after that. That's why when the credits rolled, I was like, that's the end? Seriously? That's the end? Because it doesn't make any sense.
Right. Which is just what Optic Racer said. And yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah, see, well, you see the two slits where BB's mouth was when it was BB. But then below that, you see like a menacing, like garbage disposal mouth.
Now, looking at it right here, okay, it's kind of like what was it, Mortal Kombat 3, where they had Sector and Cyrax?
Yeah, it looks like Cyrax.
But with like little dragon teeth.
Yeah.
You know what the worst of it is? It's got a little bit of that. Jesus, what's that one actor? The one that's got the lazy eye. Because look,
Forrest
BB's
Whitaker.
BB's got a lazy eye. Yeah,
he does have a lazy eye.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know.
Also, if you think about it,
they're like, we're gonna use this thing for fucking 5 seconds at the end of this movie. Like, we don't need to do it too much.
Also, if you look at the shape and the proportion, it's kind of Iron Man-ish.
Oh yes.
Yeah. What? And the mouth is clearly filled in. It's not a mouth. It's just like a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mouth looks like a party mask.
They didn't want to spend the money to have like an action, because that would have been cool if it had been like an actual like menacing, like chopping mouth, like going after him. But the proportions are even wrong. If you look at the original, well, of course, I guess it was going by, the proportions are now human size because BB's brain was put into a human.
Mm-hmm.
But
and then she's like turning into him.
Yeah, the proportions of the actual BB's head are nothing like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't like that the end was. It's like, come on, man, don't leave us on. You gave us 2 nightmares already that were pretty extreme, like, and you're leaving us on a cliffhanger that this might be a nightmare, but don't let us. You don't see him waking up and oh shit.
Yeah, that the ending, like I said, to me was bullshit.
Yeah. It didn't really make any sense. It didn't really add anything to the movie. If anything, it takes away from the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was really involved in the movie until the ending.
I gotta say, I actually do like this movie though.
I liked everything but the ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Didn't they rewrite the ending though? For that?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's probably reshoots.
That's what y'all were looking at. Yeah, it was the reshoot.
They rewrote the ending twice.
And that's what they ended up with? Wow. How bad were the other ones?
Here, I got something for you guys. You want to read something funny? You got to read this. This is the script that somebody had wrote for Deadly Friend 2.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Paul struggled against the grip of the now mechanical monster who he had once called his love as he tried to pull her hands away from his throat and probably down to his other throat. The skin slid back and off her arms, revealing a new metallic and skeletal
Wait,
form underneath.
Tommy, you wrote the fanfic for Deadly Friend 2?
No, I didn't do this. I don't know who did this.
It's called Deadly Friend 2, A Question of Electric Love.
Yeah, buddy.
Holy shit. If you get to the bottom of it, like I scroll down, it fast forwards to 263 years later.
Yep.
263.
Jesus Christ. All right. Someone has problems if they're going to go that far.
Somebody has
Holy shit.
too
Well,
much
at one point in the script, she's asking Paul to join her.
Yeah. Become a robot.
Mm-hmm.
So
really?
if they fast forward to 263 years later, then apparently he does become a robot.
Yeah.
And they're both robots.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, spoiler alert. I just ruined part 2 for everybody if they ever make a movie off that script.
I was gonna say with the stupidity of Hollywood, imagine they adapt this whole shit and start doing a series of this.
I actually didn't.
Yeah.
You said it was
8-episode Netflix series.
You said it was based off a book, and I never heard that. But it says at the top of that script, based off the movie Deadly Friend, or was it something about the movie Deadly Friend, which is based on the book
novel Friend. Yeah.
The 1985 novel Friend by Diana Henstraw.
Man, they optioned that thing to a movie fast.
A year, yeah. I was about to say a year before.
Yeah, from 85 to 86, they movied that damn thing.
Real fucking quick. All right, so I'm almost at 2 hours. We're talking about this shit. We got to the end of it. So, anyone has to say anything about we watched? Go down the line. Give our views on this shit.
7 out of 10.
Really? 7 out of 10?
Was that high or low?
I don't know. I'm not even giving number ratings. So I don't like.
I really can't go any higher than that. I mean, there was stuff like the bottle of whiskey on the stairs was dumb, and
oh my God,
the pacing.
That was so Looney Tunes.
Yeah, the pacing was a little odd. Some stuff was unnecessary, and the ending was pretty shitty. But there were compelling points. You know, and the sci-fi idea was kind of cool. Of like, oh well, what if you could bring someone back to life with the brain of a robot, and then it's like the story of that integration of what's left of her brain and the robot brain, which now has like an organic apparatus to expand into, and then who do you get after that? Who does that person become, right? So that was interesting. A lot of things were convenient. A lot of the characters were kind of flat though, very two-dimensional, and
are you talking about Tom? Tom's goofy.
Oh yeah, Tom. The mother was well played, but still pretty two-dimensional. The old lady was probably the most interesting character.
She was like stereotypical 80s mom.
Yeah. No, the old lady was the most interesting because she obviously had
like the mom from the Lost Boys, like that sort of mom movies.
Yeah. Tom was boring. He was just a moron. The old lady though had clearly seen some shit in her time and was a survivor, but she was also a little cruel. She was pretty interesting. The biker was very two-dimensional, stuff like that. Like I said, some stuff was unnecessary, some of it didn't make sense, and you could tell that some stuff was like reshot and just stuck back in. The dream sequences, were mostly unnecessary, but altogether, I thought it told a pretty, the story had like a full arc. If you don't include that ending bit.
This movie definitely reeked 80s. This was another one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But I don't hold that against the movie.
Oh, I don't either.
No, because I love when things reek the 80s, honestly.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that's it. 7 out of 10, and that's why. I probably would
Kyle?
actually watch that again.
I like this one. It's a bad movie that I like. Carol, what'd you think of this one?
Hold on, I'm being attacked by a cat. I'd probably give
At
it like a
least it's not
6 out of
BB.
10. It's not a BB cat, but it's a cat that's gonna get shot with a BB gun if it doesn't get away from me. I'd probably go 6 out of 10, but I would give the Mama Fratelli death scene probably like a 9 out of 10.
Oh, that for me, that's a 15 out of 10. Because that's
Yeah, I agree.
a basketball.
It was a pretty bad movie, but it wasn't bad like the other one with the drill.
Oh,
The driller
The
killer.
Driller Killer.
that was the
Hilarious.
worst one. That was the worst one so far.
Yeah, we didn't see the
Yeah, but you
proper
didn't even see
version.
the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I don't even think
Yeah.
that would have made a difference. I seriously think that wouldn't even made a difference because good
I
God,
don't know.
that
The
band.
Darius, did you ever find the cross scene?
I actually still have that tab open from a week ago. I haven't gone through and watched it yet. I was going to watch the parts that we missed from the version that we watched, and the cross scene is in there. And so basically, I have it queued up to watch it. I just haven't got around to it yet.
I don't even think that movie. I'm sorry, that the band in that movie annoyed me enough to never want to watch that movie again. Okay, I love how
The sunglasses.
whoever put that up on YouTube made sure to include every single bit of the band scenes, but didn't leave in a single amount of like barely any of the killing scenes.
I think they've replayed some of the band scenes, quite honestly.
I'm not. I think the same thing too. How many times I had to look at that girl with the fucking Bon Jovi haircut, smoking a cigarette, her coked out fucking face. Yeah, it was getting annoying.
Crack Elf.
This movie was better than that. The Deadly Friend was better than that fucking movie.
Agreed.
It was enjoyable. I didn't hate it. I
Tommy,
would admit to have watched it.
Tommy,
I would give this one. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10, and it could score higher, but it's missing a few things. One, it needs a Deej Odyssey and a bunny mechanical robot outfit. I mean, I think that would have really put the icing on the cake for this one, and we needed a little bit more story behind the diddler on the roof. I think if we got a little more story of him, I think that would have made this movie complete.
see, I was expecting one of your complaints to be the lack of cocaine ninjas, but
Well, yeah, there's always a lack of cocaine ninjas. I mean, that's a problem with every single movie from the 80s. There's no cocaine ninjas. It's never going to hit top marks. That's just the way it is. It really is a shame. What can you do? Not every one of them could be a winner.
Tommy, you can make the difference and come up with your own cocaine ninjas.
I'm telling you. Well, I already got my daughter working on the Guinea Pig Collective comic. I can't force her to work on the second one just yet.
I'm saying you could have figures of cocaine ninjas out there available in stores.
We need to make a cocaine ninja Funko Pop and get it made.
It comes with an actual bag of cocaine.
It always comes back to Funko Pops, huh?
What would be the special? What would this special edition limited version be? Would that be the powder white one, Han?
Yeah, and it would come with one of those little spoons on a necklace, like from the 70s, little spoon on the necklace.
It would basically be Storm Shadow, but like sprinkled with cocaine.
Yeah.
No. What if the samurai sword he's holding, instead of it being like a regular katana blade, what if it's like part spoon? Yeah.
Darius, you make it sound like I have Funko Pops. I don't know what you're talking about.
We can see them behind you, Han.
I don't want to be the spoon for this conversation, so.
Are you the big spoon or the little spoon?
I'm always the little spoon, but not that kind of spoon.
Carol is spooning confirmed.
Oh boy.
What would you think of this?
I enjoyed the movie. To me, it started a little bit slow, and at the beginning, I thought that the actual BB was going to be the deadly friend because you already see him like taking stock of who's bad and grabbing balls and crushing them.
So you thought, all right, it wasn't just you. Didn't you also say, Darius, you thought the whole movie was going to be BB, the robot?
Yeah, I thought BB, just BB, was going to be the deadly friend. You know, the robot friend that he built.
That's exactly what I thought. And then all of a sudden it goes another way.
Yeah.
Which kind of surprised me. And honestly, when we first started watching the movie, I was like, okay, this is gonna be corny and stupid as shit. Because it was a little slow at the beginning, and B, as you all have said, BB's a cross between like Johnny Five and Robbie the Robot. So I'm like, okay, now it's gonna be a movie of BB going around like grabbing people's balls and stuff. This is gonna be stupid. But then it takes a turn.
Like a hell of a movie.
Yeah, then it takes a turn. And after it takes a turn, it kind of speeds up, which I was way more into it then. I would give it, I'll say a 6.5. I would watch it again. To me, I would actually give it higher than that because just for the point of the basketball scene, like you were saying, the basketball scene's like at least a 9 out of 10, or a 15 out of 10. And
I would say like, that's the first scene that I remember from the first time watching this movie for the first time. So it's like,
and the dream
with you,
and the dream with Daddy Diddler when he bukkake's blood everywhere. That was pretty funny and gory. As a whole, it makes more sense since you all read the stuff about how they like tested the movie and changed it, and it was originally this and they changed it to that, and it feels that way watching the movie. It feels very chopped up and like pasted together in an odd way,
kind of like Sam Beebe.
Yeah. So
shit,
it's a meta Frankenstein.
The main thing that screws it up for me is the ending.
Mm-hmm.
I would give it a 7 or 8 out of 10 if it wasn't for that. Yeah, I mean, it was a little slow at the beginning, and okay.
That ending sucked. It really did.
They either A, when Sam gets killed, that should have been the ending. Well, I'll say when she gets killed the second time. I'm sorry, because she does once before in the movie.
Spoiler.
When she gets killed the second time, that should have been the end, or they should have at least showed him like waking up from a dream sequence or something.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
What they show is the ending.
It should have been him sweaty face waking up.
Yeah.
Sweaty sheets.
Yeah.
And then credits. Well, not that we're supposed to believe there's a demon version of BB out there.
Yeah.
Well, no. And to me, if they kept the ending the way it is, I think they should have just cut the ending out and had it end when she gets killed a second time. But if they wanted to keep the so-called ending in there, he should have woke up obviously super sweaty because everybody in that movie was super sweaty. They spent so much money on water spray spritzers in that movie.
Their faces.
And he should have like woke up out of bed in a start and then had the camera like him looking like across his room and obviously make it a different color. So, it's not the same one, but have like a partially completed new BB.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That would have been a way better ending.
And
from now on, you got to refer to her as she is now merged with BB. According to the Deadly Friend 2 script, is Samby.
Samby.
Yeah, I think that would have been a much better ending because
I agree.
It would make you think of him having that nightmare And then if he wakes up, obviously Sam has been killed a second time at this point. And he wakes up and looks across the room, and there's like a blue or pink or whatever fucking color, partly completed like BB version 2.0 on the other side of the room, and him just looking at it like, and then the credits.
Right. Because his arc in the movie, he actually does some pretty messed up stuff, right? And he's obsessed, right? He's a brilliant kid, but he's obsessed. And so then with your ending, then it would reveal that Paul was the deadly friend all along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which actually he was, if you really think of it. That's a good point, Darius. If you think about it, actually he was the deadly friend at the end of the day.
Paul was like of Mice of Men, right? Of Mice and Men. So he's the friend that's causing all the deaths and all the problems, right?
Yeah. And and we see, like you said, his character arc of him getting so obsessed and going down like this dark path. When
he was breaking the law right on a regular basis. He was like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
he's like Victor Frankenstein though, because he does create life from death.
Yes, it was Frankenstein complex. There you go.
But you see it start. You see his character arc start to go dark when they roofie his mom.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And then as they go to get in the van, Tom's like, but she could die. And he says, shut up and get in the van.
Get in the van. Yeah.
Look at that shit.
And from there, he is dark side. Totally.
Yeah.
For the rest of the movie.
Yep. And Sam and BB didn't ask for what happened to them. Paul made that happen. He played God with life and death, right? So he is the monster, really.
Well, I mean, I know BB turned itself back on and went to protect Paul, but
that's what BB was programmed to do.
Against his better judgment.
Run into the yard? Why didn't they just go outside the yard?
Yeah, but
they had plenty of time to run outside of the yard, and none of that would have happened.
Yeah,
but yeah, to me, that would have been
a movie.
That would have been a much better ending.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I will say, Hanstar made me realize something, that I thought this was going to be a sci-fi horror movie, but actually, it's kind of a cyberpunk story, because it's about the integration of human and machine.
Yeah. If we look at it from the mindset of him actually being the deadly friend and him going down a dark path, he saw towards the end that Sam was becoming Sam again. So, in his mind, to me, once he went down that dark path, what is he going to do next? Because he's obviously shown his dark side. So, I don't see him just quitting doing what he was doing altogether. I see him up in the ante and making like a BB 2.0 or some kind of other robot.
Zombie robot monsters that throw people through cop car windshields. You're saying
well, what if Samby got killed, by the police at the end, and then maybe Tom got shot by the police but didn't die, and then Paul decides in the last scene that he's going to save Tom's life the same way, with like a BB chip in his brain, and like he hasn't learned anything, right?
And that eventually becomes a robot himself.
Oh, and that would totally have left it open for a part 2 if they had done it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like the script for the part 2 that I already read. I like that. 263 years. No, I think it's absolutely hilarious, because in that one they actually have a prototype chip for BB that he had made, and she installs it in his head, turning him into basically what she is.
Yeah,
it's like what I was saying. Okay.
Yeah.
And then if you haven't had a chance, Slasher, check it out. It's sitting in the private chat. It's actually it's not that bad, really.
But I think I just wrote a better ending for the movie than what we saw. To me, the ending of the movie is the beginning. This is kind of slow, and I'm not gonna say it tricks you, but I'm like Darius. I thought the whole movie was gonna be BB going batshit crazy on people.
Yeah.
So then it takes a turn, which
Like
is
an evil
fine.
Johnny 5.
Yeah, it takes a turn. Okay, it takes a turn, but then the ending just ruins everything to me.
Well, that's the craziest thing about part 2. The script begins with that ending.
Yeah, I saw that. I read a little bit of the beginning of it. And then I scrolled down, and like I said, it goes to like fast forward 263 years later. But yeah.
Well, you know, the writer of that, I'll give him credit for this much, because when they do the cutscene and you hear the crunch, everybody assumes that she broke his neck. So he actually has it where she tossed him and he lands on a skeleton in the medical room, and that's the crunch sound.
Oh, are we going to watch this again? This is awesome.
Yeah, I got to see it one more time.
This was actually the best part of the movie, to be honest with you.
Didn't you bring this up, guys?
Yep. One last time before we shut down the show.
Damn shids.
3 points.
Hip dislocate.
You can see that it's like a shorter person wearing the suit. You can see the shoulders moving around where the hips are.
You suppose they use Walton for that?
Yeah, I would rewrite the ending, and I would give it, I guess I'll say a 6.5. I would watch it again, but I would watch it again because of the dream sequences, especially the vase bukkake and the scene of Mama Fratelli getting her head exploded by the basketball. Those were awesome.
I would watch this again, maybe like 5 years down the line, like I've seen.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it in like the regular rotation of watching it like even once a year. But like you said, 4, 5, 6 years from now, I'd be like, oh yeah, let's watch that movie. That was fucking cool.
But yeah, I don't give number I don't like number or letter ratings. I'd give this I'd give it a thumbs up. Maybe slightly.
I would give it a thumbs
up. Maybe slightly to the side and up its ass, but
no, Slasher, wouldn't you give it a claw up?
Yeah.
I forget how she did her fingers when she was doing the damn.
It's more like a lobster.
Yeah,
she's doing like lobster hands.
Yeah,
3-finger grab.
No,
yeah, there you go. You got it. You had it. But
I'm just. I mean, I know this was from the '80s, but and I've never seen it before, but it just kind of makes me sad because this movie could have been so much more, and it sounds like the head honchos at the studio got way too involved in it, and this is what we ended up with. And while what we ended up with was decent, and I liked it, it could have been so much more.
Yep. This is what happens when you rely on too much data. Audience-driven data analytics.
Which made the movie very choppy.
I also
and, like,
I didn't realize that test audiences had so much power back then. I didn't know that.
No, it depends on the studio and how much freedom, how much they trust the director and how much freedom they give him.
Well, I was going to say they had the same thing when Wes Craven did Nightmare on Elm Street. Mm-hmm. They had a test screening for that, and they actually were really confused about what ending they were going to use because he had 2 endings written for that. Yeah. One where the top came down, and then the other one where the mother gets pulled through the door. Originally, they were 2 separate endings.
So what we're seeing is that Wes Craven is a huge victim of test audiences, right?
Apparently, yes, apparently,
yeah. Well, he hadn't really been as proven yet at that time. I mean, this is way before he did Scream. He started with Last House on the Left. This movie was right between Nightmare on Elm Street and The Serpent and the Rainbow.
the cool thing about this movie, and we already I think touched on it, was the dream sequences were so much Nightmare on Elm Street. You could have put any of those dream sequences into a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and it would make sense.
Right. That's what people wanted from Craven.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it said. They said that the studio, after the first viewing, they wanted more nightmare sequences.
Right. Like your last one, Wes. All right, fine.
I just think this movie was wasted on the fact that they let CEOs or whoever get involved and
that's everything, though, dude.
Test audiences.
That's everything.
But
that's Disney. It's Disney Plus.
It tore this movie apart so bad. I would actually like to see one of the original cuts.
Director's cut.
Yeah, like an original cut of this, but release the Wes Craven cut. Everybody's talking about the Snyder cut. Hashtag release the Wes Craven cut of Deadly Friend.
Well, if he didn't make it by 2015, then we're never going to get it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
But yeah, it was fun though. I enjoyed it.
All right. Thanks for coming through, folks.
Thank you all for watching. And thank you all here for joining us for the film.
My co-host.
And, oh, yeah. Y'all know me. Still the same old G. But I've been low-key. I have actually been kind of low-key because people are like, hey, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. I just haven't been able to do the show. I thought about doing a power hour, and then I ran out of time for that. But, yeah, no. I should be back to streaming Monday at 8 after Tommy. And, yeah, hope to see you all there. And this was fun. Thanks, Slasher.
No problem.
I know.
We'll have another shitty movie ready to go next week.
Next week? And even I don't know what it is yet.
It's gonna be a surprise. Oh, hi.
Hello, Carol.
What am I? Oh, you can find me on Captain Trek Morning Brew in the mornings. Times vary between 6 and 8 a.m. And find me in the Hangout with Darius. In various chats like LDG and Creepy Little Book and Smirk the Alien. He's my
and she loves Hotlanta.
And I love Hotlanta.
And follow her on Instagram.
Follow me on the Instagram.
Are you from Hotlanta?
No.
No, she purposely has bought that hat to mock me.
Oh, okay.
Honstar loves my hat. But yeah, that's all I got going on right now. So
he loves to hate it.
She is so much into mocking me, Slasher, that she bought a hat.
Yeah, dude.
Like spent money and bought a hat.
The guy who's
$17.
The guy who's actually from Hotlanta.
Yeah, we don't call it Hotlanta here. Which is the whole joke and why she mocks me. It's not Hotlanta. But hey, everybody, I'm Honstar, youtube.com/Honstar, where we do fun live streams. It's also the home of Team Honstar, which is myself, Chris Knight, and Deej Odyssey. We do Name That Tune Trouts, Jackbox Game Night. Sometimes we just do Hangout streams. You can also find me on Ramblin' Canucks channel, where we do the What If series, which if you're into history, we take something from history that actually happened. We'll say like World War II. What if Pearl Harbor never happened? What would that have changed in the dynamic of like the United States being involved in World War II? If you're into history and stuff like that, it's really cool. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at HonstarYT. And always a play. Oh, and you can also find me here.
I know what would have happened.
A lot of fun watching movies with you, Han, because you're fun to watch movies with.
And you remember a lot of the details that I don't.
Which is funny.
Han.
Because I have a very bad short-term memory. But if it's like within an hour or two, I can remember stuff really good. But like, I can't tell you what I ate for dinner yesterday.
Han, did you ever do that one about Pearl Harbor?
I think we did, if I remember right. You'd have to go look at his channel, but I think we did do what if Pearl Harbor never happened.
Because
I'm about 100% sure.
I would say it'd be pretty much certain that the United States still would have got involved in it anyway. Well, the minute the Japanese would have hit the Philippines, they would have got involved.
And yeah, we did do that one, Tommy, because that's kind of the direction that we went. The difference was, would they or would they have not agreed to commit people to the European theater? But yeah, we did do the what if Pearl Harbor didn't happen. Now that you said that, yeah, it jogged my memory. Like I said, I have a bad memory.
Before we get into World War II talk,
I'm sorry, Slasher.
Okay.
Hey everybody, it's the most hated guinea pig on YouTube. Everybody hates me. YouTube hates me. Twitter hates me, and people who
I don't hate you, Tommy.
There's people here that obviously tolerate me, but there's a lot of people that just don't. Why? Because I speak exactly what's on my mind at any given point, and I just don't care. But you know, you could always follow the guinea pigs back to my channel where we talk about old toys, retro toys being done right, and old movies as well. And of course, Monday 6 p.m. Eastern, retro discussions going old school, and 7:45 back on my channel again for United Underground Presents Collectible Pass, where Vinny and I get together talking about retro toys. We had amazing discussion this past week. That was another good one. We did Battlestar Galactica, and trying to figure out what the next main topic I want to do for going old school is going to be. I want to make it another really exciting, like big topic where I can get a good panel of people together talking about a single subject, because that's a lot of fun to do that. I mean, you know, having the small discussions is cool, but I think having like a main topic to talk about is fantastic.
RoboCop. The 3 RoboCop movies.
Oh, yeah.
What, as in comparison also to the later release one?
Darius just got a robot chubby.
Yeah,
Started talking about the RoboCop movies.
I will definitely have to put that in the running for the next one of the next shows coming up. But always a pleasure, Slasher, when I have the chance to stop in. I know I was running a little bit late today, but you know, last minute shit.
I didn't even know if you were going to come through, but thank you for coming through.
No, my pleasure.
And I will just say, Tommy said he's the most hated person. I have met Tommy under unfortunate circumstances, not meeting you, but I met you under unfortunate circumstances. And I only hate Tommy just a little bit. So he's actually a pretty good guy.
Only a little bit.
I got to work on that.
He didn't key my car or slash my tires. So, I mean, we got along pretty good.
I met Tommy 3 times, and I don't know. Me and him got along every time. So.
I'm just being a smart ass.
I wasn't like, get the fuck away from my house.
Now this guy again.
Get off my stoop. Since you're in New York, we have to say "get off my stoop."
Oh yeah,
get
off
my stoop.
Yeah, no, we called it stoop too, or a stoop or a porch. That's what we used to call that shit. That's even what I still refer to it as. So I don't know. But thanks everybody coming through. I'll say
always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yes. Thank you everyone for coming through. Optic Razor, Dave Myers, and Phone.
Hester.
Mm-hmm.
Go down. Chris, thank you. I asked Chris to come through tonight. He couldn't make it. Wookie. There. And thank you for throwing out all those links there. Yeah, I said what's up to Bone. I didn't.
Oh, Bone's still with us. Peace, Bone.
Yes, thank you, Bone, for being the last hanger on here. He's the last one. I see I have one viewer left, and it's definitely Bone. Okay.
He's the last of the Mohicans.
Next week I'm gonna be back with Repo Man. I'm keeping in the 80s. Repo Man, 1984.
Oh, nice.
All right. Later, everybody.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.